Okay, so my name is Schii, and due to popular demand from other viewers on YouTube, I've decided to start doing a series of screaming tutorial videos. Now this first video isn't going to go into how to do screams that much, but merely to differentiate between the kind of screams that exist. A lot of people have this idea that the harsh, distorted vocals, which is what I will call screaming just for simplicity's sake, are all done the same way for the most part, just the sound differs because of, the same reason people's voices sound different. Just individual differentiation. And that's not the case. I mean, while, yes, there is an element of that, a lot of the kinds of screaming that people do are done in very different ways. And so in order to be good at these kind of distorted vocals, you have to know what kind of sound you're going for. So without further ado, I'll go into that a little bit. Now the kind of basic normal scream that I usually use most often is just formed, it's created by using the your bottom vocal cords, which I'll go into more in depth in other videos like throat singing. Uses the bottom vocal cords for added bite and low end to the scream, and then it's also rasping or vocal fry against the back of your throat, not on the cords, because that can potentially damage them. Now this is a very safe and healthy way to scream, as you can see some explanations on how to do this and the ones that I'm going to talk about after this one in other videos, but it sounds something like this. Now, that's, again, as I said, just a combination of the bottom vocal cords, which would do something like, those are your bottom cords, and then the vocal fry, or just straight air rasping against the back of your throat, which is a It starts out, if you go from like a whisper, you're and then as you compress it with your diaphragm, you can push it against the back of your throat into the harsher noise. So that's that. And as I said, that's a very safe, healthy way to do that scream. In fact, I actually find it's an effective vocal warm-up because it jars things loose. It's good for getting rid of any mucus buildup that you've got on your vocal cords that can damage your vocal range when you're trying to sing. So that's a good way of going about it. Then there's death metal vocals that most people think of as growling, and these can be done in a couple different ways. A lot of people think about, the pig squeals or the brie vocals, and it's done in a rather different way, although both of them differ from what I just did, in that there's a different pattern of resonance in your vocal cords. For instance, the brie vocals are basically just that. It's if you say brie, that's about the vocal or the position that you want your mouth to be in when you're doing this, and that will create a resonance that creates that kind of death metal overtone to what you're doing, which is like a that kind of thing. Or your pig squeals, which are inhales. Now, I know a lot of people don't like inhales, and I don't particularly like them because I'm not convinced that they're very healthy for you. I don't know really exactly how they work as well as I know how these other forms of screaming work, but I know that you can make like a so there's your pig squeals, like can't do it today. So that's that, and it leaves me feeling really funky, like makes me feel like I've almost had a cold when I'm doing that, so that's why I don't use inhales very often, aside from just kind of a gag thing, but just keep that in mind. So that aside, then there's the tonal screams. And tonal screams are just an extension of tonal distortion. That's healthy as well because it's not rasping on the vocal cords underneath it. Well, I mess around as a little boy. I grew up and made the blade my new toy. I grew up and made the blade my new toy. And I'm not too great at the tonal screams. The ones that I do, like on my song Circles, for instance, are done with a different kind of screaming that doesn't rely on the vocal fry as much, but more on diaphragmatic compression, which is like, "This fog obscuring my view!" And that's just the difference between a normal one of my kind of, what I call this, just the simple screams, which is would sound more like, "This fog obscuring my view," to "This fog obscuring my view," and then combine, "This fog obscuring my view." So that's that. Just forget about all the other garbage that I just did. So let's see, we've gone through your simple screams. Oh, the famous Melissa Cross Zen of Screaming scream. Now, as you can obviously tell, I don't do those kind of screams because I think cupping is lame. If you don't know what that is, cupping is when you put your hands like this to resonate it because you're not getting enough resonation in your actual throat to make it not sound crappy. And then it's vocal fry, which is real soft and sounds like this, like that, yes, and yes, it can sound okay if you have a microphone and amplification, but don't you want to be able to do this for real? Like, all the methods that I've demonstrated are completely healthy, save maybe the inhales, because I just don't really do much of those, and I probably just don't know how to do them correctly. You don't have to scream softly in order to scream. You've got compression that you can use to put oomph behind this. So don't listen to the people that tell you you can't do it, because you can. It can take years of practice. I've been doing this for years and years and years. But the people that say, the people who say that you can't use your bottom vocal cords to scream because it'll injure them, it's bogus. You use your bottom vocal cords every day when you're fed up after work and you get that big sigh and you hear that rattle down there. That's your bottom vocal cords. And so then you just practice getting those up to the point where you can just go, and then you get that going. So it's just practice is what it is. And if you practice something incorrectly, you'll injure yourself. But the vocal fry, you're like that, so, and you have to cup it to make it sound okay. You don't have to cup to make it sound okay. You don't have to cup to make it sound okay. No, not necessary. So don't listen to those people. If I've forgotten any kinds of screams, just let me know.